Hey guys, I'm so excited for this amazing podcast today. We have our new friends, Gabriel and Marc, here to talk about energy and alignment and not getting into that hustle burnout that you typically do. They have an academy. We're going to be diving into what they teach in their academy and what they teach their clients. And I just want to say with a warm hello, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, can you tell everyone a little about the two of you and how you ended up coming together as a partnership?
Sure, I'll take this. I'll kick us off. Thank you. We're so excited to be here. So yeah, Marc and I met a few years back. I don't know. I think I hired Marc as my coach in like the winter of 2020. And the reason I hired him is because I was building my own business and I had all the things. I had the Facebook funnels. I had everything going. I was doing all the things I said I should do, but I wasn't really making money. I was spending more than I was making. So anyway, I met Marc and he was working with another guy in the industry, selling, like $1 million a month. And I hop on this call with him and I'm like, I don't need any of this guy's stuff. I already have it all. So Marc and I were chatting and we just kept in touch, after that. And he's like, there's one thing blocking you. You should be making money. Like he's looked at my business stuff and all that. And he's like, it's just you. You're out of alignment somewhere. So I hired him as my coach. And the second month, my income doubled. And the third month after working with Marc, my income tripled. And this was not due to any new business strategies. This was just due to me, instead of like always being in my masculine and grinding, because I was working full time and trying to build this business. I was really trying to force the outcome. It was actually me doing less. It was me stepping back. It was me stepping into my feminine energy and realigning with myself and making sure that I honored my morning routine every morning. And I didn't let my brain tell me that you don't have time for this. And it was incredible how quickly it shifted after working with Marc. So at the end of our engagement, I just asked him, I said, hey, what do you think about like working on a project with me where we create something that helps other people build their business that isn't just focused on all those masculine business strategy action steps, but also really brings in this energetic alignment piece. So we did, and that's how we met. And that's how we built the Energetic Alignment Academy.
Tell me, because I love that you just brought up a bunch of different things that rang true. And tell me what it looks like. I know the not making money is not in alignment, and that's something, that maybe it's a given. But what are other things when you're not in alignment as a coach that are warning signs?
Good one. You want to take that, Marc?
Yeah, I think when I think about not being in alignment as a coach, I think you look at things like burnout, happiness, joy. For me, I feel like I just wrote this in an email as well, as is just the idea that when we are actually in alignment, I think some of us that are really focused and driven, we don't actually get burnt out. We do need time to recharge. We do need time to get the downloads and the inspiration. But I think if you're actually doing what you want to do, like it's just not even a question. The burnout's just not there. And I think that's when I feel like I'm in alignment. I'm just like, let's go. Like this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to do. It's not like, oh, I wish I was on the beach, in Amalfi. Like I want to be working. So that's where it aligns for me.
And tell me about kind of the curriculum that you guys have, because I know that everyone has a different framework for putting things together. I would love to hear about this curriculum, because I know everyone talks about like being in alignment, but you guys really, I feel that you've kind of cornered this and really put it together in a successful way.
Yeah, so we developed something we call milestones in our program, because we really just wanted to put ourselves like where our clients are and we work with a lot of coaches and healers, a lot of people in the healing industries, and where they are right now, where they want to be. And so we just created a milestone path, which starts with milestone 1 is energetic alignment. And what we mean by that is, again, taking a little more time into the feminine, not spending all of our time over here in the masculine, and recognizing when we're out of balance there. We teach topics and ways that they can do that. And then also managing what we call our a-hole brains, because your brain will give you so much drama when, as a business builder, your brain's going to give you a lot of drama. So we teach you how to manage your own brain there.
What are just some examples? I mean, number 2 just sounds so. What are some examples of managing that drama in the brain?
Well, I teach something that I learned at the Life Coach School called the model. We call it the results calculator, because we believe that all the results that we're creating, we create with our thinking. And so what this does is it's basically you take in all the circumstances that happen in the world. Maybe your circumstance is you didn't get a single consult call last month. So that would go on the C line. It's totally neutral. It's not good or bad until we put our thoughts around it. And what we make that circumstance mean, we're going to have a thought that's going to make us feel a certain way. When we feel a certain way, we take certain actions or we don't take action, which is like inaction is also an action, and we create a result from that. So it's a great way to see like, how is my thinking creating this result? Because we can put anything we want in the R line, the result line, but we have to reverse engineer our way back up to changing our thought about that circumstance. So basically it's kind of like all of our power resides with how we're thinking about it. So like we could choose to just give up. We could choose to say, this isn't working. We could choose to like, this is something I would do. It's a perfect example. I went through this myself. I wasn't getting any consult calls. And I'm like, I think I need to change the price of my program. And my coach was like, well, do your people even know how much your program is when they're booking a call? And I'm like, no. Like, well, then your price has nothing to do with it. So it's just kind of a way to notice how we're thinking. It really trips us up sometimes. Yeah. And then milestone 2. Do you want me to go on to the other milestone?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
I just had to, and I hope you don't mind if I stop you because
no, please
it just
do.
sounded so exciting.
Yeah, no, please do. And then, yeah, the other ones are pretty, they're more about like business building steps. So the second milestone, which I know that you've talked a lot about on your podcast as well, is getting really clear on who you're talking to. You have to differentiate yourself. So clear messaging, ideal client. The third step is really creating an offer that's irresistible. So a lot of people, they're trying to create offers that other people have, and they're going into price wars on the same offer. Like, how can you make yours unique and special and different? And then once you have that, then it's on to milestone 4, which is really creating that system for money. So building a website, a funnel, a system. So when people start coming in, they're held and taken care of. And then from there, it's building your audience. So we have like an organic marketing thing that we teach them to really get in front of their ideal clients. And then the next thing is actually, okay. And people think that's all they need, but then they realize they get in front of people and they still can't convert. They can't convert into sales. So then we teach them how to convert.
How to love sales.
People. Yes, how to love sales. That's Marc's specialty right there. He is the sales guy. And he's very passionate about it, and he's very good at it. And we don't believe in convincing anybody to work with you. They're always not your ideal client if you're trying to convince anyone. And then milestone 7, like for us, is just having that proven concept, getting your investment back. And now you have something you can build and scale. And then we go into a little bit more advanced stuff from there.
What would you say are some of the strategies that your clients, because I think when we're talking about energetics, we're talking about a certain person that's attracted to your academy. What would you say are some of the strategies that they're using in organic social media these days? Because social media changes constantly. And I know our listeners would love to hear that.
Yeah. I'll take this. Well, we don't teach a lot of social media. It's not how we started our business. We're just now, actually, Marc is really our content guy. He's got a schedule. He's really posting, but we kind of did it backwards, where we started with events. So we did like live events that you can post in Eventbrite or Meetup or any of the event platforms. And we really created a following using that strategy to get in front of people live.
I did the same thing.
You do? Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really did, because I felt, and I see this, there are a lot of coaches who are doing everything right, but it's like they're not getting that traction because it just takes time on social media.
It does.
So
that's the long game.
Go offline. Go offline and get these live events where you are talking to real people face to face.
Yeah, 100%.
And so how did you convert at those live events?
Yes. So that's how we built our business, to in 7 months in, we reached our first 6 figures. And then I got to retire from corporate America, November of 2021 that year. Yay. Then I could really focus more of my energy into the business. And then, we quadrupled it the next year. We're shooting for $1 million this year. And literally we've just stuck to the thing that works. So now we're trying to, so we've got the system that we know works. And now we're just, starting to do the social media thing, we have a YouTube channel now, and really just trying to create the long game. We kind of wish we would have done it all along, because we would have also built that. Yeah. But you know what? went hard on what we
Well,
do.
isn't
double
that
down on
such a
that.
lesson, and it's such a testimony to, I think, how many of us build our business. We sometimes do things ass backwards, and
Yeah.
it's totally okay because it's how we learn. And I think that also is a testament to the fact that there's not this one way to build a business. That what you're saying is when we're in alignment, that business will naturally fall and you will make money.
Yes. Yeah.
So talk to me a little about sales, Marc. I would love to hear this because I would say most of the people who are listening are not loving sales, and they question that pricing, they question their content, they question their offer, they question everything, and then they abandon it and try to do something else.
So that's a slightly different subject I'll touch on really quick before sales is if you're struggling in that space, you don't have clarity around your messaging, you don't have confidence because you're not getting results. So I think you should really go back to the drawing board on the case study side and really dig into the case studies of getting the information, because all the information that any of us want in our business comes from our client. This is why people spend billions and billions of dollars a year in their case studies, in their market research. But once you have that down and you're struggling with sales, I think the biggest struggle with sales is one side is, like we said, that imposter syndrome piece, right? But let's just say we actually solved that because we got results. We really did the case studies. People struggle asking for money because they see it as an ask. And so I look at it like, growing up in the restaurant industry, and just some people really want to spend money. Like they really are looking for you to offer them something. So I think keeping that in the back of your mind is a big deal. And then for me, I just look at it as sales as service. And I know we've all heard that, but I want people to think of you are this bridge of transference, right? From where this person is at and to where they have literally told you they want to go. And that bridge is you. And so what I tell our clients is the next time you think of losing a sale, right? Don't think of it as losing a sale. Think of it as losing the possibility of helping somebody transform out of all the junk and garbage that's in their life to become what they say they want to be. And because you lost that sale, you destroyed that possibility for them. And they're probably going to keep repeating that cycle. I know that sounds harsh, but it
No,
really is that way. And I think it's about just simply, here's the other side, is it's just an invitation. That's it. And then another thing G and I talk about and why we like the events so much, and you can do this on social media, is if you have to hard sell, you failed at your marketing. So your marketing should be so powerful. All the selling should be done there.
I
And then
love
when you get
that.
on that call, yeah, it's so
That's
important.
the
Like,
mic
because
drop that you just had for the day.
I mean, it's legit. I tell people like I have a buddy of mine who runs a sales force all over the world. He hires VAs and this and that. He won't even work with people unless they have that component going. You know what I mean? Like you can't have somebody just cold drop into like, oh, I just ran an ad, let me talk to you. Like, no, have you nurtured this person
Yeah.
through your marketing, through your messaging? Because otherwise you could sit on the phone and have 1,000 people and get 1,000 no's because they're not even your ideal people. So you really got to focus on that marketing, and marketing is sales. Once that's done, the sales just becomes easy. It's just a conversation.
What are some strategies that somebody can, let's just talk about imposter syndrome for a second, because we hear it all the time in the industry. What are some strategies that you can use to lessen that noise, that imposter syndrome?
That's a great question. I think it's super important. And I think for me, it's a couple pieces. One is totally off what you're going to think, and it's just about actually aligning your energy through some form of deep spirituality, deep meditation. Because I think when you do that, and then you know what purpose you're driving towards, you almost don't care how you feel anymore. Like you're convicted, right? So I think there's a conviction piece that has to take place to remove that imposter syndrome. So I think if that's the foundation, then if you're talking about actual strategies, I think it's being number one is you need to be graceful with yourself and be patient, because that is built over time. I'll give you an example. We do a workshop every month for like the last 2.5 years, right? It took me 18 months, and people think I'm super confident when I come off, but you can ask G in the background. It took me 18 months to feel like, wow. I looked at G, I was like, wow, we're good. So like, but it took me a long time to build that. So you have to, it's just reps. And this is something that a lot of people love that I say is when you go to the gym, the weights don't get any lighter, you just get stronger. So
Yeah.
just give yourself a break, and it takes that time. So really the strategy piece, unfortunately, is the reps. And then the other side is really the foundation of conviction. Like it doesn't matter if you have imposter syndrome or not. If you're like, I have to do this, like
Yeah.
it just meant to do it, then all that kind of fades away. So I
I
hope that
love that
helps.
conviction part. And I love that you actually talked about tying into like something bigger than yourself to kind
Yeah.
of ground yourself and really put your feet in the ground so that you are stable throughout this whole entire process. Um, what do you think are some of the mistakes that coaches make when they're building their business?
Do you want me to take
So
this, G?
many.
Yeah, it's so many.
I know
Let's,
because I made
let's just
like
list them all.
90% of them.
I
I
think,
made so many of them.
yeah, I think the biggest mistake coaches make is that one, they don't give themselves grace. Two, they don't get coaching themselves on a business. They see so many coaches like, well, I spent another, whatever 5K on this coaching program, but you know how to build a business? Well, they teach a little bit of business in there. I think getting mentorship specifically around business, actually, I'm going to stick with this one. This is so important. Is so many coaches want to build a business and they just want to coach. And like Rich Littman says in Prosperous Coaches, you need to fall in love with the business of coaching. And if you don't do that, and you glaze over the fact that you're just going to be able to deliver your medicine if you show up, like it doesn't work that way. So what a lot of these coaches are realizing is they have to become expert marketers. And I don't think they ever took that into account. So I think that from a foundational perspective is huge, is like, oh, wow, like I actually have to learn something. Like I think they come in almost overconfident sometimes. Like you have no idea about business, but just because you're a really great coach, those are two different things. So I think if you could learn to separate those and say, I'm really great here, but now I have to learn these skills, develop these traits, cultivate these beliefs, then I can be good. I think that would be the biggest mistake I see. I know G's probably got a ton of them.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually really good. I think the other piece is what I did wrong personally is people want to jump right into paid advertising before they even have a proven concept.
Yeah.
And if you've got
Or a
disposable
proven
income,
freebie, or a proven freebie, or the
yeah,
type of format that you actually need to deliver that your client actually digests.
yes. And that's why I was spending way more than I was making because I didn't have that. I went out there and paid for it. If you have disposable income and you want to pay for that kind of testing, then go ahead. But usually we don't. Usually we're trying to, scrap this business together while working and investing everything we can back into it. So don't start Facebook ads or anything like that until you've actually got a proven concept that works, that you've done organically. Then you can start to test with that kind of stuff. And then I just wanted to add to that imposter syndrome piece, because I think that is a big thing that holds a lot of people back. Like if I look at my graduating class, I think there's only a couple out of 10 of us that are still actually doing a business with coaching. And one thing that we often tell our clients is you only have to be 2 steps ahead of the person you're helping. So for example, in your world of health and fitness, if I am a woman who has 100 pounds to lose, I'm probably not going to be attracted to somebody who's out there doing CrossFit and kicking butt and
Right.
just buff and that's going to be intimidating to me. But I would be attracted to maybe somebody who also had 100 pounds to lose and they've just lost 50 of it. So you don't, that imposter syndrome, you really only have to be a couple steps ahead of the people you're helping. And then giving yourself some credit about how much you do know, because I think that we think everybody already knows this stuff because we see our own algorithms. And of course, we see other people in our industry and we just feel like nothing we have to say is really valuable. So just reminding ourselves that all of the stuff that you've worked on yourself, all your personal development, all of the curriculum that you've gotten, your trainings, your certificates, all of that over the years makes you an expert at what you do. And there are people out there who have different interests, have no idea what you do, but they have this problem that you can solve. So that really helped me kind of show up powerfully, even before I really knew that I was an expert.
I love that. I mean, I think that there are so many things that you touched on, especially with the imposter syndrome. I think being 2 steps ahead of somebody, it can feel overwhelming because you sit there and you look at all these other coaches and you start comparing yourself, which takes us out of alignment.
Yes.
And then that comparison syndrome is, I almost think, worse at times than the imposter syndrome, because you just think that you're like, you think that everyone else has got it figured out but you.
Right. And that's not true, guaranteed. It's not.
I would love to talk about finding your unique selling point, your unique offer, because I think in a world where we do have so many coaches who specialize in the same areas, it's hard not to have that crossover. What do you suggest to your clients to create that unique selling offer?
So this is something that relates to what we spoke about earlier, but also this is all of your nuggets, all of your gold, everything you want to mine is in your client. So G talks about this. She does something really cool where she's like, I want you to think of every single solitary problem that your client could possibly be going through. I want you to write them all down. You know this, right? I want you to find solutions to all of them.
Yeah.
But to take it even deeper is I want you to case study these people and hear what they have to say, because what's unique and compelling for you is not necessarily anywhere near as important as what's unique and compelling to your client. So if that's who you really want to talk to, all of these questions that we're talking about can be answered in the words of our ideal client. So I think that and to go back to what you said, the mistakes coaches make, this is the number one actually mistake that we talk about is they don't do the case studies. Like G and I are doing separate businesses right now that we're trying to check out, and we're just producing content. We're just maybe taking a couple case studies. We're just seeing what lands, because we just want to get to know if there's any fill there, if there's anything, what are we doing? And I think that that's so important. I think that if you really want to have like that unique piece, that definer, go find out what it is for them. If that makes
We
sense.
talked about case studies a few times. Can you just break down for any listener what a case study in your mind is like, or the
So
problem?
yeah, absolutely. Once you get an ideal niche avatar client, whatever you want to say, and you build a skeleton of what you think you want to offer, deliver, I want you to go to at least 3 to 5 people that you would be like, I would love to work with these people, and say, hey, can I possibly ask you a few questions about something I'm working on and just get your opinion? I'm not trying to sell you anything. Now, as we always say, sometimes you can actually get a client that way. But the key is to take that skeleton, ask them all the questions, validate yourself, which I hope you're getting some validation because you should be on point, but also write down all the stuff you didn't know, because that's the stuff that person really wants, and make sure you infuse that into your programs. That's what I mean by case studies.
I love that. Doing market research. I love
Yeah,
that you guys call
interviewing.
case studies, interviewing people,
Yeah,
getting on the
Mhm.
phone and actually talking to real humans.
absolutely. It's so important.
I had somebody who has a very successful membership. She said she did 30 case studies and wanted to just get people on the phone and constantly ask them. And then she developed her entire membership based around everything that they said.
But
Brilliant.
everybody, Rachel, wants to skip that step. We see it. We have hundreds of clients. They all want to skip that step. I'm like, if you don't, I'm literally on the sales call every time and they never remember. I'm like, if you don't skip if you learn anything, don't skip this step. Do
Right.
not skip the market research case study step.
What do you think makes somebody want to skip that step?
They just don't think it's
The
important. They want to
discomfort.
rush, the discomfort.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Like all of that. I think there's multiple different personalities. I think for me, I would just like, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. That's why I would skip the step. Maybe G, it might be like, oh, it's uncomfortable. I don't know, but they just have multiple reasons. And it's like, that's the step you don't skip. Those are the foundations.
What are the ways that somebody can, because I know we used to see like, I'm looking for 5 people on a personal page. What are some of the organic strategies that you are suggesting for getting case studies? Because I think this is a really huge one that we can put this at the top 5 mistakes, is that people don't do these case studies.
I personally wouldn't even do that. Like I would go out and find people. Like I'm pretty transient and nomadic right now, but if I was like the average person who lives in their town for at least a year, I'm sure I would go start looking for people. Because for me, why aren't you around these kind of people anyways? Like when
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to be a coach, I left Las Vegas. I moved to North San Diego County, Del Mar. I was in Rancho Santa Fe, Del Mar. These are the type of high level executives, athletes I wanted to work with. Like you should be in that space anyways. I want these people talking to real people face to face. Hey, can I talk to you? I think that's what you need. And if you can't do that, how can you be a coach? Think
Yeah.
about that.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Perfect point.
I start with the people you already know. That's what I did. Is
That's what I did too.
yeah, to start with the people you already know, because you're not selling them anything, and you can say that I have nothing to sell you. I'm just doing market research. I really value your opinion because you might be kind of like an ideal client, or you might be struggling with some of the things that I'm working on. Would you be willing to hop on a quick call?
And the reason I use case study, Rachel, is because market research gets so broad. It's like, oh, I studied, I did this. No, no, no. Get your ass out there, go talk to a real human being, get in front of them and ask them these questions. That's why I use that term, because it means like, oh, I have to go talk to a specific individual and sit down with them for 45 minutes, not study my market. So
That's such a great point, because I think market research, when we hear that, it gets diluted. So for that coach who's sitting here listening to you guys and saying, I want to definitely be in alignment, I definitely want to build this business, what are some of the things that that coach must do in order to be able to make that 6 figures?
I would say one thing is, I like to say, is raise your freak flag as far as being in alignment. You want to be different, just be who you are, because you are different. You're not like anyone else, but we spend so much time comparing ourselves, especially, influencers on Instagram or whatever it is. We spend so much time comparing ourselves to that we're really trying to be that. And when we're trying to be anybody other than who we truly are, we're out of alignment. Period. End of story. Like, even when I was a corporate sales rep trying to build my business, I couldn't fully come out as myself as much as I wanted to, because I knew I also had, my boss looking at my stuff probably, or people from work. And so anything like that, where you can't fully be yourself, is going to hold you back. It's not that you can't do it, but you don't have the pedal to the metal when you're out of alignment somewhere. And the other place that I noticed where I was out of alignment was in my own personal life. So this goes for everyone. It's not just about business. Like, our life is our business as an entrepreneur. It's all intertwined. So for example, if you find yourself people pleasing, saying yes when you really want to say no, hiding things, like I hid a lot of stuff from my husband, mostly how much money I was spending on my business. And I had to come clean with stuff. I had to be able to fully be me in order to feel so I could show up powerfully. And I think that's how you show up powerfully with confidence, is when you're not worried about sounding like somebody else, making sure that you are up to their level, or any of that nonsense. It's just, that's really, I think, what will differentiate you from the next person, is you being you. And some people ain't going to like you, and that's totally okay. As a matter of fact, that's great, because that means you are doing something right if there's people that don't like you. But the people that do like you, they're going to like you a lot,
Yeah. What would you say for, let's just talk morning habits and alignment, because I always love to know what people's morning habits are.
Okay.
So I'll tell you about my morning habit, and actually G has a great one too, but I just want to share this for all the listeners. This is super important. You have it backwards. You're trying to add so many things to your life, including your morning habits, including all these things. And at the level of a beginner, the success is 99% more about what they remove from their lives. If you start to remove all the junk, you make space for all the great stuff to align with you. That means removing the people, the toxicity, the shows you watch, the food you eat, the way you train, all of those things. The more you remove those, that's actually way more successful in the beginning than making sure you have this specific routine that has ... on it. I think that's the key. But if you want to talk about routines, I'll just tell you mine really quick. So in the morning, I give myself 90 minutes to do this kind of bowing routine, which is like gratitude, releasing, and then what I want to fill myself up with for the day. I do a Native American prayer that I do, and I give tobacco. I journal, and I meditate, right? And then I'm off to the gym. And then I come back, and then I do a Dr. Joe meditation for an hour. So it's like I do have a very strict, crazy routine. And it actually, when I look at the amount of routine things that I'm able to do in my life, that I'm so blessed, it's probably 4 hours of my day.
Wow. I got to up my game.
But you got to remember, like, I live like an environment where, like, I mean, I just like, I don't have to take a call right now until what, G, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
5 o'clock because of the time change. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of, that actually makes it easier. Yeah. So, and G, you have a phenomenal, I mean, you did that routine for what, 2 years straight without quitting?
Yeah, I did Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, that book. I don't know if you've ever read that, but highly recommend. And I actually teach a module on this in our course for energetic alignment, but it's just, he uses that SAVERS technique. So it's silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and then the last S is for scribe, which is writing. And you can really tweak that to make it your own. But what I did for 2 years, I didn't miss a single day, whether I was on vacation, sharing a hotel room with somebody, It didn't matter. This came first. And not that regimented anymore. I will be transparent. I have little hit and miss days, but yeah, for 2 years I did, I made it my own. So I did Dr. Joe meditation first. That was like a 40-minute meditation. And then I would do a visualization that only took a few minutes. I would spend 10 minutes either listening to audio or reading something that was, not 50 Shades of Grey stuff here. It's got to be either like personal development or spirituality, something that, levels you up. And then I would go to work. I get up at 4 a.m. to do this every day. Go to work, come back, and then I get my exercise in. But I just think it's just a way to start your day off with intention. And that's what we're doing, is we're creating an intentional life, on purpose. And I think that's a really big part of it.
I think it has just been so amazing to have the two of you here. I just want to say thank you so much. Can you tell everyone where to find you guys?
Yeah. You can find us. Our website is www.energeticalignmentacademy.com. And we've always got a sign up there for our 3-day client attraction workshop. It's free to attend. So feel free to sign up. You can find us on Instagram too at Energetic Alignment Academy, or just at Energetic Alignment Academy, no .com there for Instagram. And thank you for having us. This was really an aligned conversation. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
I had a lot of fun with you guys. Make sure to follow these two. And if you have been feeling out of alignment, definitely sign up for their 3-day workshop. I would also say definitely look at their academy. You can tell that we got some value truth bombs today that were amazing. And it would definitely be something that would help you. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Rachel. Bye.